Prosperity for Virgo. What may be forming behind the scenes? There is something happening in the invisible architecture of your life right now, Virgo. Something you cannot see, cannot measure, cannot track on any chart or spreadsheet. And for a sign that finds comfort in the tangible, in the provable, in the things you can hold in your hands and examine with your eyes, that might feel unsettling. But what if the most important developments in your prosperity are the ones happening where you cannot look? What if the breakthrough you have been waiting for is being assembled in a place that your logic has no access to? Stay with me, because what is forming behind the scenes of your life right now is worth understanding, even if understanding it requires you to trust in something you cannot verify. Foundation 1. The first thing forming behind the scenes is a realignment of your relationship with deserving. For as long as you can remember, there has been a quiet equation running in the back of your mind. One that ties what you receive to what you produce. You believe somewhere deep in your operating system that you can only have what you earn, and that earning requires visible, measurable effort. Rest does not earn. Dreaming does not earn. Simply existing does not earn. Only doing earns. Only producing earns. Only sacrificing earns. But behind the scenes, that equation is being rewritten. Not by you, not by your conscious effort, but by the accumulation of a lifetime's worth of doing, producing, and sacrificing that has created a reservoir of energy so vast that it is now beginning to overflow. You have already earned more than you have received, Virgo. The balance sheet of your life is tilted heavily in your favor, and the universe is in the process of correcting that imbalance. Not all at once, not with a single dramatic event, but through a steady, persistent flow of returns that will begin to show up in your external world as the internal realignment completes itself. This is not something you need to force or accelerate. It is not something you need to earn more of. It is something you need to allow. And allowing is perhaps the most difficult assignment the universe has ever given you, because it requires you to step back from the controls and trust that the machinery of life is working in your favor, even when you cannot see it moving. Foundation 2. The second thing forming behind the scenes is a network of connections that you are not yet aware of. People are being positioned in your orbit right now, people who carry keys to doors you do not even know exist. Some of them you have already met but have not yet recognized as significant. Others are still making their way toward you through a chain of events that, from your current vantage point, looks like nothing more than ordinary life unfolding in ordinary ways. But there is nothing ordinary about what is happening. Every conversation you have had in the past several months, every chance encounter, every message exchanged, every moment of genuine connection. These have all been threads being woven into a tapestry that will eventually become visible. The introduction that felt casual will turn out to be pivotal. The idea someone mentioned in passing will turn out to be the seed of something substantial. The person you helped without expecting anything in return will turn out to be the bridge to an opportunity you could not have found on your own. Virgo, you have a tendency to evaluate the value of your social interactions based on their immediate, practical outcomes. If a conversation does not produce a clear result, you move on without much thought. But the connections forming behind the scenes do not operate on that timeline. They operate on a longer, more patient schedule that your analytical mind cannot predict. Trust that the right people are finding their way to you. Trust that the relationships you are cultivating, even the ones that seem insignificant, are part of a larger design that is working entirely in your favor. Foundation 3. The third thing forming behind the scenes is a shift in the financial currents that surround your life. This is not about a specific sum of money arriving at a specific time. It is about the overall direction of your financial energy changing course. For a long time, your financial life may have felt like swimming upstream. Constant effort, modest progress, the persistent sensation that you were working harder than your results justified. But behind the scenes, the current itself is beginning to turn. This turning happens so gradually that you might not notice it at first. You might dismiss the early signs as coincidence or luck. A small unexpected payment. A discount that appears at exactly the right moment. A financial burden that suddenly becomes lighter than you anticipated. An opportunity to earn that arrives without you having to search for it. These are not random events, Virgo. They are evidence that the current is changing direction. They are the first visible ripples of a much larger shift that is still mostly hidden beneath the surface. The key is to notice these ripples and to respond to them with openness rather than suspicion. Your analytical mind will want to explain them away, to find the logical reason behind each one, to strip them of any larger significance. Resist that impulse. Let the ripples be what they are. Early signs of a prosperity that is building momentum in the invisible world before it fully manifests in the visible one. When you acknowledge these small shifts with gratitude and attention, you accelerate the process. When you dismiss them, you slow it down. The choice is yours, and the universe is watching which one you make. Foundation 4. The fourth thing forming behind the scenes is a healing of old financial wounds that you may not even realize you are carrying. There were moments in your past when money was a source of pain. Times when there was not enough. Times when you had to go without. Times when you watched others have what you could not. And the quiet sting of that comparison left a mark deeper than you acknowledged. These wounds did not just affect your feelings about money. They shaped your behavior around it. They created patterns of hoarding, of overcaution, of settling for less because you were afraid of wanting more and being disappointed. Behind the scenes, these old wounds are being addressed, not through dramatic therapy or painful excavation, but through the gentle, organic process of time and awareness. You are beginning to realize, perhaps without even consciously thinking about it, that those old fears no longer match your current reality. The scarcity of the past is not the scarcity of the present. The vulnerability you felt then is not the vulnerability you face now. You are stronger, wiser, more resourceful, and more capable than the person who experienced those financial hardships, and your subconscious mind is slowly updating its records to reflect that truth. As this healing progresses, you will notice that your relationship with money becomes less anxious and more confident. You will find yourself making financial decisions from a place of clarity rather than fear. You will begin to take calculated risks that the old, wounded version of you would never have considered. And those risks, guided by your Virgo precision and newly healed sense of financial self-worth, will produce results that confirm what the healing has been telling you all along. You are safe, you are capable, and you are ready for more. If what you're hearing feels accurate, imagine what could happen if you applied this energy intentionally for 21 consecutive days. That's exactly what the 21-day program in the pinned comment is built for. Daily guidance, focused direction, and real momentum. If you're tired of staying in the same cycle, this is your structure. Foundation 5. The fifth thing forming behind the scenes is a clarification of your purpose. Not the grand cosmic purpose that spiritual teachings sometimes talk about, but the practical, grounded, daily purpose that gives your life direction and meaning. For some time now, you may have felt a vague sense of drifting. Not lost exactly, but not quite anchored either. As though the compass that used to point clearly in one direction has been spinning, searching for a new north. Behind the scenes, that compass is finding its bearing. The new direction is becoming clearer, even if you cannot articulate it yet. It is showing up as a growing interest in certain topics, a deepening engagement with certain activities, a pull towards certain kinds of work that feels different from the obligations you have been fulfilling out of duty. This emerging purpose is directly connected to your prosperity, because when you are aligned with your true purpose, money stops being something you chase and becomes something that flows naturally toward you as a byproduct of doing what you are meant to do. Do not rush this clarification. Do not try to force the compass to settle before it is ready. The purpose that is forming behind the scenes is more expansive and more rewarding than anything you could construct through willpower alone. It is being revealed to you in stages, each one building on the last, each one bringing you closer to a version of prosperity that is not just financial but deeply, holistically fulfilling. Foundation 6. The sixth thing forming behind the scenes is a strengthening of your inner resilience. The challenges you have faced in recent years, the disappointments, the setbacks, the moments when you wondered if things would ever truly get better, none of those were wasted. Each one deposited something in the deep structure of your character that is now becoming a pillar of the prosperity that is approaching. You are tougher than you were, more flexible than you were, more capable of handling uncertainty, of pivoting when plans change, of finding opportunity in disruption. This resilience is not visible in the way that muscles are visible. You cannot flex it or point to it or measure it on any scale. But it is real, and it is growing, and it is one of the most valuable assets you possess. Because the prosperity that is forming for you will require resilience. Not because it will be difficult, but because it will be new. New levels of abundance bring new kinds of challenges. The challenge of managing more, of deciding more, of navigating possibilities that your previous life did not prepare you for. And the resilience you have built through years of quiet struggle is exactly what will carry you through those new challenges with grace. Foundation 7. The seventh thing forming behind the scenes is perhaps the most mysterious, and it has to do with timing. There is a season for everything, Virgo, and the season that is approaching carries a particular quality of ripeness. Plans that stalled will begin to move. Ideas that felt premature will suddenly feel right. Conversations that went nowhere will reopen with new energy and new possibility. The timing of your life is shifting, and while you cannot control when the shift completes itself, you can recognize the signs that it is underway. Some people watch, others transform. If you want to be in the second group, the 21-day guide in the pinned comment gives you a clear step-by-step process aligned with your sign. This isn't about waiting, it's about moving. One of the clearest signs is that things begin to feel less forced. Where you once had to push, you now find that life is pulling you forward. Where you once had to convince, you now find that doors are opening before you even knock. Where you once had to struggle for every inch of progress, you now find that momentum is building on its own. This ease is not laziness. It is alignment. It is the feeling of being in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing with the right energy. And that alignment, Virgo, is worth more than any amount of forced effort could ever produce. Foundation 8. The eighth and final thing forming behind the scenes is a new relationship with hope. Not the fragile, desperate hope that clings to outcomes and crumbles when expectations are not met, but a deeper, more grounded hope that is rooted in the knowledge of who you are and what you are capable of creating. This hope does not depend on external circumstances. It does not rise and fall with your bank balance or your career trajectory. It is a steady flame that burns regardless of the weather, because it is fueled not by what you have, but by what you know about yourself. This hope is forming quietly behind the scenes as a natural result of all the other foundations we have discussed. As your sense of deserving realigns, as your connections deepen, as your financial currents shift, as your wounds heal, as your purpose clarifies, as your resilience strengthens, as your timing ripens, hope is the natural byproduct. Not manufactured hope, not forced optimism, but the authentic, organic hope of a person who has looked honestly at their life and sees, perhaps for the first time in a long time, that the best is not behind them. The best is ahead. Virgo, the prosperity that is forming behind the scenes of your life is real. It is not a wish. It is not a fantasy. It is the natural consequence of decades of quiet, consistent, unglamorous effort, meeting a cosmic timing that is finally ready to reward that effort. You cannot see all of it yet, and that is fine. You do not need to see it to trust it. You do not need to understand every detail to believe that the details are being handled. What you need to do is continue showing up as the person you have always been. Disciplined, thoughtful, careful, kind, and allow the invisible forces that have been working on your behalf to complete their work. The behind the scenes is almost ready to become the main stage. And when it does, Virgo, when the curtain finally rises on the prosperity that has been assembling itself in the wings of your life, you will look back on this moment and understand that everything, every struggle, every wait, every quiet moment of faith was leading you exactly here. You have two options after this video: close it and hope things shift, or decide that the next 21 days will be different. If you choose the second, the structured 21-day transformation aligned with your sign is waiting in the pinned comment. The energy is already moving, the only question is whether you are.